Hey everybody, welcome back to Parenting with a Purpose. I am your host, Donna Janel. It is so great to be back in the studio, y'all. I have been off for the last 2 Thursdays. One Thursday was my birthday. The other Thursday was my daughter graduating from high school. Y'all know as a parent, I was elated, I was celebrating, I was literally in tears, y'all. This one kid of mine, I got 4, right? But this one kid of mine in particular, this is my second oldest. This is the one that I got from my sister and her husband, who both passed away. My sister 10 years ago, and her husband 12 years ago. So this is one of the ones, I have 2 of their children. They were 6 and 8 when I got them. So now the 18-year-old, because it's been 10 years, y'all, 10 years on this journey, y'all. I've been parenting for 25 years, but parenting as a single mom of 4 kids for the last 10 years. And when I tell you it's been a journey, it's been a journey, it's been a journey. But I was so excited because she graduated. The statistics for children when one parent passed away, right, is 1 in 12 children, and only 20% of those graduate from high school on time. This girl lost 2 pairs of, right? And she graduated high school. She graduated with honors, National Honor Society. She is hitting to go in the Marines, y'all. I'm super excited, right? As a parent, you're like, why are you excited to send your kid to the Marines? Because this girl has overcome so many things in her life. Her journey was not for the weak, okay? It started off rough, and she has managed to be able to do this thing with grace and just beauty, even in the ashes, So I'm excited, y'all. But I'm happy to be back, y'all. I am happy to be back, and I'm happy to talk about this topic tonight, y'all. And my goal, my theme, my mission, the vision is parents are the bows, and our children are arrows, right? And they will go wherever we send them. Now, I know, this disclaimer, it might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, it might not be next year. Hey, it might not even be the next 5 or 10 years, but eventually they will land. They will land, and they will land when they're supposed to land, right? Because they all have life challenges, different things coming at them as well. But as parents, as long as we dress them, we don't send them out in the world naked, they will be okay, right? Planting those tools inside of them, planting those seeds in there so that those seeds can take root and grow fruit, right? And that fruit shall remain. So as long as we as parents do what we need to do and impart in our children to teach them, to guide them, to lead them and show them the way, they will get to their destination. They will. You and I both know, as parents, when we were children, our parents probably prayed for something different for us, or, they had a journey too. Now that we're in this parenting thing, we know that parenting is a journey, right? So I'm quite sure that it took a long time for each and every one of us to get to where we are now, and we face different challenges. So let's give our kids some grace to grow. Grace, that's the new thing, grace to grow. Giving our children grace to grow, so that they too can go. So tonight, y'all, though, tonight, we are talking about fathers. This is the month of June, and the United States has dedicated this month to fathers. They said, there's a Sunday that's particularly for Father's Day. It's a Sunday, but we like to take care of the whole month. The whole month, actually, it should be the whole 365 days, so we honor both mothers and fathers. But this time particularly, I'm taking the month of June to just talk to fathers, y'all. Just never been done before in my show. It's literally going to be testosterone through the studio for the month of June, right? And yes, it's just going to be me. And, I feel like I'm equipped and I'm good to handle these fathers. Last time I had single fathers on here, it was like 4 against 1. They was coming at the single moms, and it was like crazy in here, but I held it down for us, right? So this month, though, with this fathers, there's so many different ways we're going with the shows this month. We're going to talk about the importance of father, the roles of fathers, all good, better, and different. If you had a good father, if you didn't have a good father, whatever your perspective was, just like so many things. Because again, here at Parenting with a Purpose, we talk about stuff that people don't want to talk about, right? We talk about them uncomfortable conversations and stuff that people put in the backyard and try to bury, or over generation on generation, and we wonder why people act a certain way because your granddaddy did it, your great granddaddy did it, your great 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 grand did it, right? So here at Parenting with a Purpose, uncomfortable conversations. And interesting enough, y'all, tonight, this is one of my parenting itself for me has been a journey. through my own experiences being a child, growing up with, life, different circumstances, situations, not all so great, but I came out well, right, y'all? So, and it's no secret to everyone how, I mentioned before, my upbringing with my parents, my mother and my father, some issues that I had myself with abandon and rejection and things like that. So tonight, ironically enough, y'all, I'm gonna be transparent tonight. I'm gonna be open, and we're gonna see where this go, y'all. We're gonna see where this go. So originally, y'all, my father was supposed to be on the show with me, my biological father. Now we have a good relationship. I think it could be better, but we're working towards that, right? And you never know that if you're really over something until something happens, right? So, he's supposed to be on the show. My dad was so excited, leading up to the show. I asked his permission. We were really going to get down and dirty with it. And I got a phone call today from my mom, not my dad, telling me that my dad's not feeling well. He won't be able to be on the show 2 hours before the show, y'all. So it's crazy because the little girl in me kind of almost reverted back to, like, it was a trigger for me of being abandoned, being rejected, not showing up for me. But now I'm a grown woman, and I didn't think that it would affect me the way that, my mind was trying to take me for a minute, because I'm like, listen, I'm healed, I'm over, I have a relationship, we're still growing in our relationship, and, I'm a grown woman, right? I'm out here on my own, I'm a grown woman. And so when I got the news, I said, okay. And I kind of had to take an honest moment and talk to God, because so many times we want to cover up stuff and we think that stuff doesn't affect us, but we're human and things do affect us, right? The thing is that how does it affect us? Is it going to affect us in a negative way where it paralyzes and we can't move to the next level? Or is it going to make us angry? How is it going to affect us? So I had to take a moment, and I had to be honest with myself. I had to be honest with God. I am disappointed, y'all. And this is not to throw shade at my dad and put nothing out there, because I know many of you guys are dealing with the same situation. So it's like, how do we deal with it, right? Now, I'm not throwing no fire on my dad. I'm not throwing no shade on my dad. I love my dad. And I'm not saying that my dad wasn't sick today, right? But here it is. This is what I was sharing with my sister on the way here. It's like, for some reason, moms, it don't matter, hell or high water, sick or not sick. Listen, we showing up for our kids, right? There's plenty of times like I had no sleep and just really not being able to do it, but pushing ourselves. And I noticed with a trend, like, moms show up no matter what. Work, school, sickness, like, it doesn't matter. Unless they're in a hospital bed, they gonna show up. So I thought about it, like, I am allowed to be disappointed. And I was hoping that my dad showed up even if he's not feeling well. And I'm not saying he do or he don't, that ain't none of my business. But what I'm saying is that I honestly, transparently am disappointed. Now, what do I do with that disappointment? I was going to cancel the show tonight. I honestly was going to cancel the show. But I thought about it, like, I am on a mission for parents, right? I am on a mission no matter what goes on, that I have an assignment and I have a purpose, right? And that is to bring out the responsibility, nobility, and beauty back into parenting. Although parenting is hard, you have ups, downs, ins, outs. Like, sometimes you think you walking on the side of your head as a parent. And there's moments in our life where things that we think that we're healed from, and we continue to proceed with our children, and then we realize there are some triggers, there are some things that we're not healed from. So I realized today I was disappointed. I'm disappointed. Does that mean that I'm not still healing? I am still healing. But I realized today, I thought I was completely healed from the situation, but when it hit me with that little disappointment, I was like, you probably need to do some more work, Donna. Which is okay, being honest with yourself. So tonight we're going to be talking about fathers. And, I kind of had to switch the program a little bit because of that. But it's crazy enough that when like in your heart, you kind of felt like, I kind of felt a little bit it might not happen, but I was praying and wishing and hope it would, just based on the history of things. But again, it happens, life be lifing. I keep telling y'all, life be out here lifing, but I know God is still God, and so I'm good. So tonight, I'm gonna take it alone, and what I'm gonna talk about, I think it's great though, because this is kind of setting the foundation of the month, and we're talking about fathers, right? So I want to talk about the importance of the father, the role of a father, and what it really looks like, what it looks like in the lives of our children, we as adults, and I want to read something to you. You know, I like to do my little research, y'all. I don't come up here with just nothing, y'all. This thing right here kind of blessed my soul because I always try to give y'all some numbers, right? Because people do really do research, and there are statistics out here, right? It says in the U.S. alone, we're talking about the United States, and I know I got people across the world. Shout out to my people that are in Africa, Nigeria, Kenya. I know y'all follow me. Thank you guys for following me so much. But it says 72 million dads across the country. There are 72 million dads in the U.S. 72 million dads. Man, that number is 72 million dads in the U.S. 29 million of those are grandfathers. So that means that like they're dads, and then we have grandfathers, right? And 70% of them live with their children. There's two-parent households. 70% of the households that are parenting, there's two-parent households. 20% are parenting by their mother only, and 5% by their fathers. Now, we don't really talk too much about fathers parenting their children themselves, right? But you guys know I had some guys on here who are taking care, they're holding it down for their children, parenting their children themselves. Their children live with them, they wake up with them, they go to bed with them, they go to school, they do everything that a parent should do, right? It's just as a father, we're so used to seeing that as a mother. Like I said, through hell and high water, mothers, we be out here, right? So it's good to see fathers are out here too, right? So that's the numbers, right? That are the numbers. Like I was hard for me to believe there was 72 million men out here, dads. I mean, there's a lot of kids, so why wouldn't there be 72 million dads? But there are, right? So I thought about that, and I was like, wow, because there's so many things that go on in the world, and we always see the highlighted things of the absence of a father, right? What happens to a child when a father isn't there? We don't really hone in on too much of what happens to a child when a father is there, right? It seems like, you know, the world, the news, society, you know, we tend to gravitate to negativity, right? The lack of, not what we have or what we're doing with it. And I think that we really need to change the trajectory of conversations, right? Of not talking about what coulda, shoulda, woulda been, but what are we doing, and even though that didn't happen, how do we get to the next level? What do we do from here? I don't want to talk about problems no more, y'all. I want to talk about solutions. So with parenting, we know there's all types of problems and things like that. I'm going to hear your problems, but let's figure out what we can do about it, all right? In order to change the trajectory of our children, we as parents need to change ourselves. We need to be able to transform our own lives so that therefore we can impart to our children and help them be successful, whatever success looks like for them in your family, right? So I kind of wanted to talk about fathers play an important role in their children's life, emotional support, right? Fathers, we look at just moms showing emotional support, like, you know, the old saying, at least what I heard and what I hear from my generation and generation before me, about the role or the importance of a dad in a house is to be the provider, the person that provides finances, shelter, and security, right? That's what I heard the role of a father. It's not too much talk about fathers being emotional intact with their children. They leave that up to the moms. That's what it was back in the day. But we know that times are changing, and we've realized that might have been okay for then. That is not okay the way we're parenting our children now. Now, I always hear, this is the crazy thing, one of the things I hear a lot of people from generations before me is, well, I turned out all right. My parents wasn't emotionally attacked, and I turned out all right. And I look at them and like, oh, did you? Really? That's interesting, because that's just their perspective. Like, it wasn't too bad. I turned out all right. Here's the thing. Parents did the best that they could with what they had at the time. But there's also a way to make room for improvement, right? As a parent, we all know we experience some things that we have to make unpopular decisions. There are some things that just we don't do right. We're just not. Like, we don't understand, and it's just life be lifing. But I think if we make room to pivot and make room from changes and to become better, I think that we all end up in a better place. If we recognize that there's no perfect parent, there's no superhero parent, and that we really need to be able to transform so that we can transition to another area, to another level, to another dimension in our parenting, right? So I wrote down a lot of things, y'all. I got my tablet, y'all. I got some notes. No more of this paper stuff. I got my technology together. Got some notes so I can kind of scroll down to my notes, y'all. Looking real nice up in here. All right. So the importance of a father. Again, we thought the importance was providing for us, giving us security. Oh, the manly man is going to secure the house, going to hold it down, going to make sure that we eat because he's going to be out there finding a job. Mom's going to kind of stay at home or either go to work and still cook and clean and all that stuff. Things have changed. So our fathers have much more role than just being that financial provider and that security provider, right? And honestly, if you think back on your life, think about your upbringing and the father or the lack thereof, think about how did it affect you and what your perception of it is, right? Because like I said, I heard this all the time, security, all that other stuff. But think about how you really perceive how a father should be, how you think a father should be in your life or in your children's life, right? So I got fathers are important because they do this, right? They impact the child's success, right? Statistics show that chances of educational success increase when fathers are involved in parenting. Children are less likely to get involved in situations like teenage birth, being expelled, or even serving jail sentence. Now let's talk about that for a second. Because when you look at that, it's like, oh, great. Teenage birth's going to be down because the father is involved. Kids are going to be able to stay in school, and they're not going to do no jail time. Now, hear me clearly. There is a way to father. One of the things that I realized just by doing this parenting with a purpose thing is that there's a such thing as a father being in your life and being present in your life, right? You know that you could be in a room with a bunch of people, we all here, but that doesn't mean that we're present, right? By present, I mean, are they involved, are they active, right? Because we know that through generations, though, there are fathers who actually been to jail, and their kids are going to jail too because the father hasn't transformed, and then they allow their children to see that, and then they too become a product of the environment, of the negative portion of the environment. You're going to become a product of your environment, whether it's positive or negative. If your environment is negative, you may find a way to get out of that negativity into positivity and produce better, right? But then there's, on the flip side of that, you're around negative people, you're going to be negative because you don't want nothing better, right? Or you may not know how to get better. So let me back that up. You may not know how to get better. So but what the statistics is saying is that if a father is in the home, if a father is actively in a child's life, even if they're not in the home, but if they're actively in the child's life, that child has no other choice but to succeed. That child will be successful educationally. That child will know the importance of school, staying in school and learning and being supportive because a father is supportive, right? And they're going to realize, listen, my dad is not in jail. Why should I go in jail? My dad has done all these great, amazing things. Why would I want to do something opposite of what I see, right? Because kids mimic what they see. So the stats show, y'all, it ain't me, it's the stats showing that if a father is actively involved in their children, they're less likely to be teens birth, they're less likely to be expelled from school, and less likely to serve jail time, period. That's what it says. And we know those three things right there are significantly important, right? So that's about the education, the impact and the importance of a father when it comes to education. Again, we ain't just talking about the security. I'm not going minimize security because our kids do need to feel protected. Being a child and experience a lot of bad things because I wasn't protected. Protection is a key, a top-notch one of the top ones, right? But also that emotional stuff is important. It says fathers, they improve a child's well-being. So fathers help children make better life decisions. I don't know about y'all, but I've seen a couple TikToks, right? And the mom would be talking to the kid, and I think I've seen this a lot too. The mom had been talking to a kid, and we could tell the kid something 4 different times. It's almost like they don't understand, they don't want to hear or nothing. As soon as the father walk in that room, let me tell you, man, it's like, I don't know if y'all seen roaches when you turn the lights on. Yo, that is just how it is when the father walks in the room. It's like somebody light switch went on and the kids just start scattering, start going and doing exactly what they were told to do. The father didn't have to yell. The father didn't scream. The father didn't threaten to beat the kid. It was just something about that father authority, knowing that I got to do right. They play with us, Mom. I'm not going to front. My kids play with me all the time, too. They play. But a father, they don't play no games with them. They don't play on straighten up real fast. Sometimes, listen, being a single mom with 4 kids, I'll be like, can I rent a dad for a day? Can I rent a dad for a day? Because these kids not listening. I just can somebody record something for me so I can play for the kids? Because I done told them 20 times that just if I had this male present in this house, I know things will be different. So sometimes I'll be like, can I rent a dad for a day? Not for me, my own purposes, but just for the kids, y'all. So it says that fathers, they highly contribute to the child's cognitive development. Children develop cognitively well, and their behavior improves once they know that they're loved by a father. Now, we could talk about moms all day because we know moms, but I really want to hone into the importance of this father role, that emotional support, right? Support. And the stats that kids do better when fathers are involved. I can honestly say, kids do better when fathers are involved. No slight to these single moms out here. I'm not out here trying to promote single moms because I did it all these years and it ain't fun. I'm not trying to do that. But what I'm saying is that, you know, we do the best that we can with what we got going on, but it's really important for fathers. I know early in my singleness, you know, I think I've been a single mom for 14 years. And earlier in my singleness, I was really seeking out a dad for my kids. Like, I really was like, I'm not doing this parenting thing on my own. You're crazy. I've seen what it like. I experienced life, okay? And earlier in my dating, I was looking for somebody to father my kids. But then when it just wasn't the right fit, not the perfect fit. It just didn't fit. So now that I'm older and my kids are 25, 18, and 16, I'm not looking for somebody to parent my kids with me anymore, you know. So that kind of changes too. But earlier, I really was looking for somebody to help raise my kids. And that just didn't pan out. So that's why I've been single for 14 years. It's okay though, because they almost out of there and they doing significantly well, even it's just being me. But I do understand and value the importance of a father. You know, one of the things that you hear, we just got finished May, and that was Mother's Day. And one of the things that you hear constantly is single moms saying, Happy Father's Day to me. And I'm like, what kind of foolishness is this? You know, everybody have a particular role, right? And I ain't no father. I'm going to tell you that now. I'm not your daddy. I'm your mother. And I think that, I don't know if that's just single moms want to be recognized that we do it all. We do the mother and the father role. But at the same time, like, we cannot replace the father. No matter how you slice it, we are the mothers, period. And we can get role models in our kids. We can get some mentors in our kids' life, some men in our life. But we need to be honest with ourselves. We are not the dads. We are not. So I tell people, yo, if you say Happy Father's Day to me in May, you disrespected me. Because now you kind of like belittling the fact that I'm a mom. If June is coming up, you know, June is here and it's Father's Day. And if you say Happy Father's Day to me, you're going to get the side eye. I'm telling you, you wouldn't get that eye because I don't want nobody to say Happy Father's Day to me. I'm not a father. I still send my ex-husband Happy Father's Day text because he's still the father of the kids. Like, he's the father. No matter how they behave, the matter is that they here because he helped produce the children, right? That's what happened. So whether I like it or not, whether we get along or not, he's still the daddy, right? So out of respect, I say Happy Father's Day. No, he don't say Happy Mother's Day to me. I don't look for it. I don't care. But out of respect and type person I am, I say Happy Father's Day. But I'm just saying, as we start in June, stop telling mothers Happy Father's Day. Stop. Mother, stop wanting people to tell you Happy Father's Day because you're not the father. And I know it's uncomfortable, and I do recognize the hard work that it takes to be a single mom. But at the same time, we're not the dads. I can't be two people. I only can be one person. That's me, and God had created me to be a mother. That's it. So this is the part that we hear about all the time. Fathers provide financially support, right? Because this is the big thing that people always say. What the father is: money and security. Period. That's what it is. But we're changing that conversation. So this is something that parenting and dads and mom has changed over the years. Like the role, I think the importance is still there, but how we kind of pivot, how we kind of shake, it's differently, right? So whereas back in the day, the father may have been out working, sun up, sundown, working, providing, right? Making sure that there's food on the table, clothes in the bag, lights in the house, right? And they really had the significant role of the financial responsibility in the house. This is back in the day. That's not so much now. And again, we'll hear much older folks say, well, that's how it was back in the day and it worked. I will beg to differ. When I look at it, and we based on conversations and therapy, it didn't work out too well like that, like we think that it did. Because we have this thing in our mind that if it was done and it was done so long that that's the way it's supposed to be. So now, because of the lack of fathers in the home that are providing financial support, mothers are now working sun up to sundown to provide. So we do know that there's a difference when a man in the house and just a single mom. So, but back in the day, like they provide most of the financial support, but times are changing. And again, that's also has something to do with the fact that women were making way less than men. Right? Men were like the top breadwinners. Like a woman, first of all, if a woman could get a job, and then if they do, they were getting paid like dime on a dollar of men. Now we already know that there's significantly different pay rate with black people in general, black men in general. So then you got not only that I'm a black woman, I'm black, but I'm a woman. So I'm going to get paid way, way, way less than what everyone else is getting paid. So that's another reason why the man, the father in the house was really the keynote, the breadwinner, right? Times have changed and, we on the scene now. We're able to provide, we're able to further our education so that we can provide for our family. So you may see some flip-flops in the role of the house now. You may see dads that are stay-at-home dads, and moms are out here making, six figures and stuff to hold the house down. And that's not saying that the dad is lazy, he don't want a job. No, it's just that whatever works for that dynamic of the family, that's what works. If a dad, listen, honestly, I'm gonna tell y'all, sometimes, even as a mother, we don't be doing stuff right. Like, we be tired, we be frustrated. And like I said, our kids respond to men differently, to the dads differently than us. So sometimes maybe I am, my skills and my talents and my gifts and my ability is to be outside of the house working. And maybe that father is such more emotional attached, just better at this portion of parenting, and that it's early in childhood, it's okay for the dad to stay home. But again, whatever works for your house, whatever your dynamic works, I think it's awesome that I see stay-at-home dads. I think it's awesome. I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom. Listen, Linda. No, thank you. Listen, my friend owns a daycare, man, a child care center. And I say to her all the time, whoa. Now, as you know, I'm a nurse, and I deal with kids that are medically complex. So most of my kids, they have machines. They don't talk. They're nonverbal. So, but when I talk to her, she's also my prayer partner. So when I talk to her in the morning, and these kids coming in, let me tell you, you can't pay me $1 million to be a child care provider. You can't pay me $1 million to be a child care. Dealing with kids all day that are active, that's a job in itself. Kudos to those who stay at home, the stay-at-home moms, the stay-at-home dads, the stay-at-home aunts, the stay-at-home uncles, anybody that stay at home taking care of kids. Kudos to you, because this is not my assignment. It's a lot of work. And you really have to have the patience for that and the endurance, because it gets rough out there. So I don't knock any father or any mother who want to be a staying home. Again, whatever works for the dynamics of your family. As long as the family is financially stable and nobody is feeling more pressure or stress than the other, like it's a team, because teamwork makes the dream work, right? So I'm never going to tell somebody what they should do in their household. Now, if you ask me for some advice, see how we can enhance the household, I'm your girl. I'm never going to tell you how to live your life, period. I think whatever works for you and your family, it's whatever works, right? If you guys are being effective and being successful with it, why bother it? If you ain't feeling some type of way, she not feeling some type of way, I don't feel no type of way. It's just that sometimes we seem like we have to meet the expectations of the world. Like the world says this is what this look like. The world says that's what that look like. But we are all unique and we are made uniquely, right? So we don't have to mimic what other people do. We don't have to please the world or please other people, because it's our life that we have to live, honestly. Like, nobody's going to live this life for us. It's our life, day in and day out. We on the job, right? So, again, whatever works for your house. And I so appreciate, though, those stay-at-home dads. I definitely do. I remember growing up earlier, when I was little, before my dad left, I remember my dad doing my mom used to go out and do her thing, but I remember my dad doing my hair. I remember my dad cooking. Like, he was home. And he worked, though, but he was the one that was really responsible for us at a young age because my mom was doing her thing. So I remember him combing our hair, feeding us, reading to us, having us listen to music. And I'm talking about very early in childhood before he left, because I don't remember what age I was when he moved, but I do remember when he was there, and I remember the fun I used to have walking to the store with him. Like, I was a daddy's girl, and I see this is why y'all could tell that I was kind of disappointed about tonight. I'm a daddy's girl, point blank period. I love my moms, but I'm a daddy's girl, and because the relationship of my dad leaving really brought some emotional things to me that I became like emotionally deficient in areas because of the fact that I felt abandoned and rejection that my dad left. But I do remember the good times I had with him. I remember going to the store, man, and he used to do my hair. Yo, he used to be able to do our hair well, put little ponytails in it, look all cute. So that's why I think stay-at-home dads are pretty cool, because you guys know how to do it. Stay-at-home moms, you're great too, but it's just something about seeing a dad that's able to be like emotionally attached to their child, being able to help them with their homework, cook with them and things like that. I think that is just awesome. And that's what I did miss once my dad was no longer in the house. I did miss those things. So they are important. And he did he had a job, so he did provide as well. But that other portion, that thing for me was better than the financial portion. And I can say that because I ain't had to pay the bills. But for me as a child, that emotional support of him sitting there doing my hair and all that other stuff, that's what I remember the most. And that's what I miss the most. So we know that the father responsibility in the family is supporting the family, right? I think like the presence, again, I can't even stop talking about the presence of a father. Like, you can see it day in and day out. You can kind of tell when there's not a man in the child's life, because again, we start seeing all these behavioral issues. Bullying is one of the biggest things that children do who don't have a father that's active in their life. Like, they start, taking on these anger things, and they start bullying other people because of the lack thereof, right? So we see that a lot with bullying is, and that's one of the telltale signs that there's a lack of a father figure in the child's life. We already talking about the cognitive figure, the cognitive ability helps us with connections and bonds and stuff. We used to think that was all mothers. It's fathers too. We talk about that authority figure. It's just something about like that, I don't know, that testosterone or something show up in the room, everything changes. It's just, even for me, being 44, when my bi dad, my bonus dad, and my bishop, which is my dad, let me tell you, it's so crazy and so amazing how God do things. I'm going to share this for a second, and then I'm going to go back on to this authority thing. Growing up, feeling abandoned, rejected, right? From both of my parents, I felt that way. And as I was growing up, I always like kind of shied away from the parenting topic. Didn't want to be a mom. I told y'all before, I'm transparent. Never wanted to be a mom. Never wanted to be a mom because I thought I was going to harm my children the way I felt that I was being harmed as a child. So I never wanted to do that. So, but once I became a mom, I took it pretty serious. Like I wasn't going to parent the way I was parenting, and I wasn't going to produce hurt intentionally to my children, right? So, but I think the amazing thing about God is that I didn't have what I needed or I felt that I needed growing up, but he has a way of just surrounding us with people who can step in as that role, because not only like do I have like my mother and my father, my biological mother and father, again, who I have a great relationship with now, but God had placed me with bonus parents, and most of you know in the world may know, they're the Walkers, who at 21 stepped in my life, and literally I was married and had a kid at 21, y'all. And I still needed some parenting. So they kind of swooped in and stepped in and really kind of parented me throughout the years. So where I had a lack, I now had an abundance. So not only did I have, the Walkers as my bonus parents, but then I went to a church, Christian Growth Ministries, and then I now have Bishop Lane and Pastor Lane as my parents. Now, a person, I'm telling you, somebody asked on Bible study the other night, like, how do you be accepted in a family when your whole family rejects you? I am that person. So because my heart was so hardened about families, like I really didn't want nothing to do with parenting. So, but I thought that was like pretty important to mention that where I had a lack of parenting, right? God has really given me an abundance of parenting, and I'm loving it. I have like 3 sets of parents, and I still honor, respect my biological parents. I love them tremendously. I love my bonus parents and my bishop and my pastor. But I've said all that to say is that sometimes, like, when we don't have something, we start looking in the wrong places for stuff, right? We start looking at, particularly, that's how you get in these bad relationships. As parents, as moms, as dads, because if we didn't heal the inner child in us, we seek a father in a man, right? And that father may be because they say they love us and we were looking for love from a father, we start to accept behaviors that are not loving behaviors, like abuse, drug use, verbal, physical, mental, emotional abuse. That is not love. But because the lack of fathering that we receive, this is why fathers are so important. You guys bring the stability emotionally with us so that we know, who, like, our value. Just knowing our value, and it's a father that kind of establishes that. Listen, telling your girls that, oh, you're beautiful, and if you're a dad that exemplifies what a true father is, which loving, supporting, caring, providing, your daughter will look at that and says, I want to marry someone like that. And anybody else come that's different, they not going to have no parts of. But because the lack of, that's how we find a lot of females get into these crazy relationships, because we're searching for a father. We're searching for a man to fill that spot when there's no man that's going to fill the spot of a father, period. Not going to be able to fill it. So we get into these relationships, and then we carry it and we transfer it down to our children, and then it becomes a cycle after cycle after cycle. So that's what we really need to stop. And that's why I want you guys to know, like, the importance of a father. So even moms, single moms, you have these kids, like, you got to find a father figure for them. Like, it is a must. I'm dealing with situations now because I was not able to find a father figure for my son particularly. Like, I'm dealing with stuff now of trying to make sure that he's emotionally okay. Even though his dad is in his life, but again, we talk about being active. I remember growing up, being abandoned, rejection. So it's one thing about when you don't see your parents, right? You don't see your parents, so you can make up all these stories about why they're not here, right? Either, they busy working, or they out there traveling, whatever they want. You can make up in your head about something of an absent parent. But when you got a parent that's in your face that's just not active, you can't make up no excuse for that. You can't make up no story for that. That's even more devastating, because I used to make up some stories about my parents. Oh, I used to say they was overseas. I said my dad was traveling. Like, it was some crazy stuff. I was making up some story about where my dad was and what he did and stuff. I think at one point I said he was in the services. He was in the armed forces, y'all. My dad ain't never been in the armed forces. But I think at one point growing up, I told them that. But again, you can make up stories about an absent father, but you can't make up stories about a father that's here just not active. So again, moms, mothers, please make sure that we have male, safe, secure male figures in our children's life. If it's not the daddy, somebody that. But I encourage you to be the daddy though. So I want to backtrack that because I don't want to gloss over that. I encourage you to work out a co-parenting situation where the father can really father their children, no matter where they are or what's going on, and that we don't hinder that. Mothers, don't hinder that, because sometimes mothers get so angry with the dad, and then they see the child and they see the dad, and they don't want the child to have nothing to do with the dad because the child looked like the dad, and it's a whole lot of mess, right? But I want mothers to encourage relationships, encourage healing. Even if you yourself are hurt from that past relationship, I encourage you to get healed, because you don't want to be a hinder to the relationship of your child and their father. And this is coming from a mother. You don't want to be a hinder to that relationship, because if that child is going to have to deal with some emotional disturbances as they grow if we hinder that relationship. A lot of times, mothers hinder the relationship, one, because they're mad at the dad, two, because of financial thing. You ain't paying for the child, why should you see the child? I see that a lot. Child support becomes a major issue of finances, so you don't let the dad see the child, or you talk nasty about the dad. Like, again, emotional instability. That child will have emotional disturbances because the lack thereof. So whatever it is, whether it be financially, anger, whatever you have against the father, you need to clear that up, moms, for the sake of your children. Listen, it ain't even about you no more. It's about your child. So making sure that you are encouraging a restored, renewed, refreshed relationship of your children with their fathers. Because I just told you that children do well when their fathers are involved. I know this is not like a perfect world where all fathers are in the household. Listen, some things just, we wasn't even never supposed to get together. I'm telling you, you know what I mean? Like, some situations happen. However, what do we do now? How do we deal with it? We ain't together, but we got this kid. This kid needs you. So I'm so serious about that, because we see it time and time again. And when I talk to dads, this is what they're telling me. The mother won't let them see their kids because they didn't pay child support, or they so angry that the dad got a girlfriend, or it's so many anger issues that we as mothers need to heal so that our children can have the best of both worlds, the father and the mother, right? So, man, that just really hit me. Like, don't hinder that relationship. Now, if that relationship is physically, emotionally harmful for your child, again, that's when therapy is needed. We don't just throw people away because they have an emotional disturbance that's now hurting my child. No, we get therapy so that they can heal and that they can father our children best. The same thing with us is if we got some issues, get some help so that we can so we can mother our children the best of our ability. You know, I think it's so important for us as parents to like take that responsibility and really, really own it. Our children didn't ask to be in this world. Like, we did the activity and now they're here. And then we get mad at them because they're here. Well, they didn't ask to be here, okay? So with that being said, take responsibility and do what we need to do for our children, period. I don't care who you like, who you don't like, who you did like, all that other stuff. It don't even matter. That stuff is erased. Like, I really don't have anything to do with that over there. My goal, my job is to make sure that my kid is emotionally stable, period. So I encourage you moms to really, really think about, consider your child in this matter. And another thing, a lot of kids talk about their dads is like, their dads are trustworthy. Like, men, they remain trustworthy. Fathers have the responsibility of maintaining and being a reliable figure. Again, I told y'all, like, I had some daddy issues. I did. I remember a particular thing, and again, this is no slice to my dad. We talk about this, and I kind of joke about it a little bit now. But I just remember growing up, like, he had brought all my siblings bikes, and then it was time for me to get a bike. He was like, I'll bring your bike back. I ain't see him in a year later. I ain't never get my bike. So the joke around the family now is, can I get a bike? But I brought my own bike. I'm a grown woman now. I'm a grown woman. But I still be like, can I get a bike? But for years, I said it seriously and painfully, and I was hurt about it. Now, I kind of joke about it because I brought several bikes since then. But being reliable and trustworthy, like, say what you say, be where you're going to be where you say you're going to be, do what you say you're going to do. Fathers really have, if a father disappoints a child, it is significantly different than a mother disappointing a child. Don't ask me why. It just happens. That's just the importance of a father. Like, a mom cannot show up for their kid, and all right. And I think because 90% of the times the mom shows up through hell and high water, we there. But when a dad doesn't show up or a dad isn't reliable, that kind of puts a seed in a child, kind of not to understand that not everybody's the same, and you may think that all male figures don't show up in your life. All male figures are not reliable. So then you start seeing these type of behaviors, and you start accepting these behaviors from your significant other, who don't have to be reliable, who don't have to show up, because this is something that you experience, and you may think it's normal. That's not normal. So men are to be, fathers are to remain reliable, because our children look at that. Like, the one person I know gonna be there is my dad, period. There's just something different about dads, I'm telling you. And I'm a mom experiencing this, and I'm a daughter, so I know there's something different about dads. Even with my bonus parents, it's crazy, because I'm telling you, I'm a daddy's girl at heart. All three sets of my parents, my abundance of parents, I'm a daddy's girl all the way. I love my moms, all three of them, I love them. But it's something about my dads, man. I don't know. It's just, I'm a daddy's girl. And all three of them they just do something for me, the dad portion of it. So we know that based on our own experience in our life, we know the importance of a dad. So we really should allow dads to show up for our kids' life, right? So, yeah, man, that really kind of got to me a little bit, y'all. Talking about the importance of dad, fathers being in the house. I think sometimes as moms, we take on this superhero cap, and we think that it's a flex to be a single mom. It is not a flex to be a single mom. I don't know who told y'all. They told y'all wrong. I think because we do so much, and like we said, we're going to do any and everything for our kids, we take on this superhero cape. And we start thinking that we could do everything and we should do everything. And that's the whole thing about moms saying Happy Father's Day to mothers. Craziness. But we just, I don't know. We just show up differently, and we think that it's a flex. I don't think it's a flex to be a single mom. I've been doing it for 14 years. Get somebody else to do it. This ain't what you want, y'all. So stop flexing and being a single mom, and, do what we need to do as parents, as moms, and to cultivate good relationships. Good positive relationships, y'all. That's really important, and I think that's what's going to change the trajectory of this world. We have a lot of children who have the absence of a father, and we acting like it's not a big deal. We acting like it's okay that they don't have no father in their life. We acting like it's a flex that, I'm a single mom, I'm holding it down, I'm doing everything. It's not a flex. Although you are holding it down and you're doing everything, but it's not a flex. And I think if we keep promoting that or keep selling that, we're going to have less fathers in the home, less fathers active with our children. Because we want to put on this flex, this superhero cap. I got this. You ain't got to be here for so-and-so. Yeah, they do. I want you to be here for them. I need you to be here for them. So it ain't about me. It ain't no flex. So if you're a mom out there, you're a single mom out there, and if you think that single parenting is a flex, no, baby, it's not. So I'm encouraging you to seek some help to get that perspective, that mind shift, that shift to change, because if you're sowing that, if you're living that, that means you're sowing that into your children. And we don't need that generational, that transformation, transformation from transferring from your thoughts, transferring those thoughts to your children, because then we're going to start having these generational things, right? These generational things that are not positive. It's things that we want to pass on to our children, but we don't want to pass on the negativity. We don't want to pass on the deficiencies, right? We want to pass on the abundance, the things they're worth passing on. So it don't matter what age you are, like, don't promote this single mom thing. It's not a flex. Although we do a great job at it. It's hard, but it's not a flex. We need our fathers. I'm telling you now, at 44, I still need my dad. When my dad said he couldn't come tonight, I was disappointed, because I still need my dad at 44. So imagine your children under that. They need their dad. A friend of mine, she has a child care center, and I told you I can't. That ain't my anointing. That is not. But today she had celebrating fathers, and I thought that was so cool, because every father, and I was on the phone with her because that's my prayer partner too. And every father that came in, she just celebrated them so loudly. They had donuts with dad today. And what I thought was interesting, that she was providing the donuts for dads to say, we appreciate you. But the kids wanted the donuts too. They wanted to sit and have donuts with their dad. I thought that was so amazing, because at one thought, it's like, all right, we're going to celebrate these dads. We're going to give them donuts. We're going to say, yeah, we appreciate you, right? But then to another level, the kid said, that's my dad. I want to celebrate with my dad for being my dad. Sitting there having donuts with the dad. I thought that was just, I was like, I didn't even get a chance to share that with her, of what I received from being on the phone with her and when the dads were coming in and what the kids were saying. And that's just like confirmation of this topic of how important dads are. How important it is for dads to show up. When I hear the dad's bringing a child to the child care center, and now she has, from birth to, she has preschool, next is kindergarten. And I hear the dads coming in with their kids, signing their kids in, or if I'm at the child care center and I see the dad show up and how excited the kids are, they're excited about the moms. Now, I'm not saying that, but it's just a different excitement about them dads. It's something different about them dads. As you know, you experienced that. It's something different about my dads, all of them. Shout out to my dad. Shout out to my dad, Curtis Motley. Shout out to my dad, Delangelo Walker. And shout out to my dad, Billy Lane. I told you, God has blessed me with an abundance of fathers in my life. And everybody is active in my life. So I think that's awesome. But tonight, I just want to leave with y'all. I hope that y'all got something from there, particularly like, dads, your role is so important to show up and to be active in a child's life. There's no replacing you, period. Moms, your role is important, and one of our important roles is to make sure that our children have fathers in their life, right? Let's put that at the top of your list, right? Not just any father, but a father that's going to pour into them, allow them to go, give them that security, that emotional stability, so that they can grow, so they can plant some seeds and they can take root and they can produce fruit. Period. As as parents, we want to bring back the responsibility, nobility, and beauty back into parenting. And how do we do that? Cultivating relationships. Our children will see that. They too, when they go out in the world, they're going to want to have good, positive relationships. They're not going to accept any and everybody. Our boys not going to accept anybody to be their girl or their wife, whatever. They're not going to accept, all the craziness and stuff, because they're not going to get to experience that from their mama. My mama didn't act like that, The girl's not going to accept anything from any man. That ain't how my daddy treat me. Oh, no. My dad, no, I'm a queen. I don't play them games. So establishing that in the house and as the child grows really will help produce amazing relationships as they get older, so that we don't have to have our children at 44 sit in a therapy office talking about the lack thereof, right? So if we want to prevent some of that, we talk about these medical and health disparities. Well, if we take care of ourselves, if we get our emotional state together and we raise our children right, we don't have to worry about health disparities because we don't have to be sitting in nobody's office because we're taking care of ourselves. We're doing physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, educationally, and relationally. We're doing the work. So I encourage you guys tonight. I hope you got something out of it. It was a healing session for me, y'all. I was a little transparent, but again, I want to talk about uncomfortable conversation. I couldn't sit here before you tonight and not express the true disappointment and pain that I feel, because that life be life. Like, this is what it is. I can't cover it up, but at the same time, I'm still loving, I'm still forgiving, but I do hurt. So if we stop hiding, covering up some stuff, and really get to the root of it, we can uproot some of those things, plant some new seeds, and produce some great fruit in this world. Again, I'm Donna Janel. You have been listening, watching Parenting with a Purpose, where strive to bring back the responsibility, nobility, and beauty back into parenting. You guys have a great night.